How to give negative feedback to an employee with empathy. Have you ever had to give negative feedback to an employee and felt anxious about how they'd react? Maybe you've worried about hurting their feelings, damaging morale, or creating tension in the workplace. You're not alone. Here's the truth. Giving feedback doesn't have to be uncomfortable or confrontational. When done with empathy and clarity, negative feedback can motivate, guide improvement, and strengthen trust between you and your employee. In this video, I'll show you a step-by-step approach to giving constructive criticism with empathy, so your feedback is effective, supportive, and professional. You'll learn how to address performance issues without creating defensiveness or resentment. Welcome to Bridging Conversations, the channel dedicated to helping you communicate with empathy, navigate challenging conversations, and build stronger relationships in the workplace and beyond. Before we dive in, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We share weekly tips on communication, leadership, and emotional intelligence so you can lead with confidence and compassion. Giving negative feedback to an employee is one of the most delicate parts of leadership. Done poorly, it can demoralize your team, damage trust, or even create conflict. But done thoughtfully, negative feedback becomes a powerful tool for growth, accountability, and stronger workplace relationships. The challenge most leaders face is balancing honesty with empathy. You want to address performance issues clearly, but you also want to maintain respect, encourage improvement, and avoid creating defensiveness. In this video, I'll guide you through a step-by-step framework for giving constructive, empathetic feedback that motivates employees while preserving trust. You'll learn how to prepare for feedback sessions with clarity and intention, communicate feedback respectfully and constructively, use empathy to maintain morale and encourage growth, avoid common mistakes that create defensiveness or resentment, and follow up effectively to reinforce improvement. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools and confidence to give feedback that inspires improvement and strengthens your team. So, let's begin with step 1. Preparing your feedback with clarity and intention. The first step in giving negative feedback is preparation. Walking into a feedback session without a clear plan increases the risk of miscommunication, defensiveness, or frustration for both you and your employee. Here's how to prepare effectively. 1. Identify the specific issue. Focus on observable behaviors or outcomes, not personal traits. For example, instead of saying, "You're careless," say, "I noticed the last 3 reports had calculation errors." 2. Clarify your objective. Ask yourself, what do I want this feedback to achieve? Your goal should be improvement and growth, not punishment. 3. Gather examples. Have concrete examples ready to illustrate the issue. This makes your feedback objective, fair, and actionable. 4. Plan the setting and timing. Choose a private, neutral space and a time when neither of you is rushed or stressed. For example, a manager noticed an employee consistently missed deadlines. Before the meeting, she listed 3 specific instances, identified the impact on the team, and planned a one-on-one in a quiet office. This preparation allowed her to provide feedback clearly and calmly without creating defensiveness. Preparation ensures your feedback is focused, constructive, and delivered with purpose, which sets the stage for a productive conversation. Step 2. Delivering feedback with empathy and respect. How you deliver feedback is just as important as what you say. Negative feedback can feel threatening, but if delivered with empathy, it becomes a conversation for growth, not confrontation. Here's how to do it. 1. Start with a positive note. Recognize their contributions or strengths to set a supportive tone. For example, I appreciate your dedication to meeting project deadlines and the quality of your work on the last report. 2. Use I statements. Frame feedback from your perspective to reduce defensiveness. For example, I noticed that the last 2 reports had errors, which impacted the team's timeline. 3. Be specific and actionable. Avoid vague criticism. Focus on observable behaviors and provide clear guidance for improvement. 4. Maintain a calm, composed tone. Your body language and voice convey respect and professionalism, which encourages the employee to listen and engage. For example, a team lead needed to address frequent errors in a junior employee's reports. She began the conversation by acknowledging their hard work, then explained the mistakes using specific examples, and ended with a clear suggestion for improvement. The employee responded positively and felt motivated to correct the issues. Delivering feedback with empathy and respect preserves trust, reduces defensiveness, and encourages growth. Step 3. Encouraging dialogue and employee input. Feedback is most effective when it's a two-way conversation, not a one-sided critique. Allowing employees to share their perspective ensures they feel heard, understood, and empowered to take ownership of improvement. Here's how to encourage dialogue. 1. Ask open-ended questions. Invite them to reflect on the situation. For example, can you walk me through your process on this project? 2. Listen actively. Paraphrase or summarize what they say to show understanding. For example, so you felt unclear about the deadlines, is that right? 3. Acknowledge their perspective. Empathy isn't agreement, it's recognition. Say things like, I understand how that situation was challenging for you. 4. Collaborate on solutions. Work together to identify actionable steps for improvement rather than imposing directives. For example, a manager noticed missed deadlines on a report. Instead of simply pointing out the errors, she asked, "What obstacles did you face with this assignment?" The employee explained that unclear instructions caused confusion. Together, they agreed on a clearer process moving forward, strengthening accountability and trust. Encouraging dialogue turns feedback into a collaborative process, fostering ownership, learning, and a stronger working relationship. Step 4. Focusing on behavior, not personality. When giving negative feedback, it's crucial to address specific behaviors or outcomes, not personal traits. Criticizing personality can feel like an attack and triggers defensiveness, whereas focusing on actions encourages improvement. Here's how to do it. 1. Be objective. Stick to observable actions or results. For example, instead of saying, "You're careless," say, "I noticed the last 3 reports had calculation errors." 2. Highlight impact. Explain how the behavior affects the team, project, or company. For example, these errors caused delays in our client deliverables. 3. Avoid labels or assumptions. Don't assign intent or character judgments. Focus on facts and outcomes. 4. Combine with positive reinforcement. Balance the critique by acknowledging their strengths and past successes to maintain motivation. For example, a supervisor needed to address missed deadlines. Rather than labeling the employee as lazy, she said, "I noticed the last 2 deadlines were missed, which impacted the team's schedule. Let's work together to create a plan to avoid this in the future." This approach kept the conversation professional, constructive, and actionable. Focusing on behavior rather than personality prevents defensiveness, preserves respect, and keeps the conversation solution-oriented. Step 5. Using empathy to motivate improvement. Empathy is a powerful tool when giving negative feedback. When employees feel understood, they're more likely to listen, reflect, and take action, rather than shut down or become defensive. Here's how to use empathy effectively. 1. Acknowledge feelings. Recognize that receiving criticism can be uncomfortable. For example, I know hearing this feedback might be frustrating, and I appreciate your openness to discuss it. 2. Express belief in their potential. Reinforce your confidence in their ability to improve. For example, I know you're capable of delivering high-quality work, and this feedback is to help you succeed even more.
Before we proceed, if you're finding real value in learning how to navigate tough conversations, then you're going to love what we've put together for you. It's called the Difficult Dialogue Toolkit Workbook, your hands-on guide to mastering communication in the moments that matter most. Inside, you'll find practical exercises, reflection prompts, and step-by-step frameworks designed to help you handle conflicts, give feedback effectively, and turn tension into trust, whether at work, at home, or in your relationships. Think of it as your personal roadmap to calm, confident, and constructive conversations, no matter how challenging they get. You can grab your copy right now using the link in the description below. Now, let's continue from where we left off.
3. Highlight benefits of change. Explain how improvement helps them professionally and strengthens the team. For example, addressing these errors will help you build stronger client relationships and reduce stress on the team. 4. Offer support. Let them know you're available to guide or clarify as needed. For example, I'm here to answer questions or review your progress if needed. For example, a manager addressed repeated errors in an employee's reports by saying, I understand mistakes happen, and I know you have the skills to improve. Let's create a plan together to ensure this doesn't continue. The employee left feeling motivated rather than criticized. Using empathy turns feedback from a critique into a constructive, motivating conversation that fosters growth and trust. I want to share a story that highlights how giving feedback with empathy can transform a difficult situation. A manager noticed one of her team members consistently submitting reports with missing data. In the past, she might have simply criticized the employee in front of the team or sent an email that felt harsh. Instead, she scheduled a private one-on-one, started by acknowledging the employee's dedication, and shared the specific errors factually. She asked, "Can you walk me through your process so I can understand what happened?" and then collaborated on a plan to prevent future mistakes. The result? The employee felt respected, understood, and motivated to improve. Over the next month, the quality of reports improved dramatically, and the employee grew more confident and accountable. This story shows that empathy combined with clarity and collaboration creates positive outcomes, turning potentially uncomfortable feedback into an opportunity for growth and stronger relationships. Step 8. Avoiding common feedback mistakes. Even with preparation and empathy, it's easy to make mistakes when giving negative feedback. Avoiding these common pitfalls ensures your feedback is effective and constructive. 1. Focusing on the person instead of the behavior. Criticizing personality traits creates defensiveness. Stick to actions and outcomes. 2. Delivering feedback in public. Always choose a private setting to maintain respect and confidentiality. 3. Being vague or unclear. Ambiguous feedback leaves employees unsure how to improve. Use specific examples and actionable guidance. 4. Overloading with too much feedback. Focus on the most critical issues first to prevent overwhelm. 5. Ignoring follow-up. Feedback without follow-up often leads to repeated mistakes and frustration. 6. Lack of empathy. Neglecting to acknowledge feelings or show support can make feedback feel punitive rather than constructive. For example, a manager once criticized an employee by saying, "You're disorganized," in front of the team. The employee became defensive and morale dropped. By contrast, focusing on specific behaviors privately, using empathy, and following up with support leads to better outcomes and stronger trust.
Avoiding these mistakes ensures your feedback motivates improvement, preserves respect, and strengthens your team's trust and performance. Let's recap the key steps to giving negative feedback to an employee with empathy. Step 1. Prepare with clarity and intention. Identify the issue, gather examples, clarify your goal, and choose the right setting. Step 2. Deliver feedback with empathy and respect. Start with positives, use I statements, be specific, and maintain a calm tone. Step 3. Encourage dialogue and employee input. Ask open-ended questions, listen actively, and collaborate on solutions. Step 4. Focus on behavior, not personality. Address observable actions and their impact rather than labeling the person. Step 5. Use empathy to motivate improvement. Acknowledge feelings, express belief in their potential, and offer support. Step 6. Follow up and reinforce progress. Schedule check-ins, acknowledge improvements, and provide ongoing guidance. Step 7. Learn from real-life examples. Stories illustrate how empathy and clarity strengthen trust and inspire change. Step 8. Avoid common feedback mistakes. Focus on behaviors. Stay private, be specific, limit overload, follow up, and show empathy consistently. By following these steps, you can deliver constructive criticism that inspires growth, preserves respect, and strengthens your team's trust and performance.
If this video helped you understand how to give negative feedback with empathy, I'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments. What's your biggest challenge when giving constructive criticism? And what strategies have worked for you? Your experience could help someone else navigate the same situation. If you found value in this video, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We post weekly videos on communication, leadership, and emotional intelligence so you can navigate difficult conversations confidently and compassionately. Remember, giving feedback isn't about pointing out flaws. It's about guiding improvement, building trust, and empowering your team. With preparation, empathy, and clear communication, you can transform challenging conversations into opportunities for growth and stronger workplace relationships. Thank you for watching Bridging Conversations. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring strategies to communicate effectively and lead with emotional intelligence.
If today's episode helped you see conversations in a new light, imagine what could happen if you had a full toolkit in your hands, one that guides you through every difficult dialogue life throws your way. That's exactly what the Difficult Dialogue Toolkit workbook was created for. It's more than just a workbook. It's your communication companion, packed with exercises, scripts, and mindset tools that transform anxiety into confidence and conflict into connection. Thousands of people are already using it to strengthen their relationships, lead better at work, and finally say what needs to be said with empathy and impact. So if you're serious about becoming a better communicator, click the link in the description right now and get your copy today. Don't just listen, start practicing the skills that change conversations and change lives. Thank you for watching Bridging Conversations, where we turn hard talks into healing talks. Until next time, keep bridging, keep growing, and keep the dialogue going.